Hello guys. So in our previous session, we walked through the classical control systems principle and we zoomed into the finite state machine. We walked ourselves through a simple two-state machine for keeping chocolate at 45 degrees Celsius. I hope you understood the principles. If you had any questions, just leave them at the comment sections and we are sure to address them. In this session, as I promised, we are going to walk ourselves through how to program a simple finite state machine. We are not going to use the chocolates example simply because we don't have that set up now, but we are going to demonstrate the same thing using this simple robot. Our robot is equipped with a touch sensor connected to port labeled 3. The robot has 2 motors with wheels attached to them. The motors are connected to port labeled A and port labeled D, A and D. So we want to write a simple program for this robot to respond to a touch. A touch will either be a yes, and when not touched, we'll say a no. So just like a finite state machine, this time the processor or the computer is supposed to process a touch or not being touched from the sensor and then respond by moving the motors forward or backwards. That is a two-state machine that can either move forward or backwards depending on the state of its sensor. I'll be using the EV3 Mindstorm programming environment. My name is Michael Wilson, Chief Trainer of the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation and a technologist at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Let's get to work. So this is the first screen you see when you start your LEGO Mindstorm EV3 programming environment. The software can be downloaded for free at the LEGO Mindstorm website. We'll start our programming by starting a new project. So I move to File, New Projects. Then I select Program. That opens up my programming environment. Let me enlarge a little so we can all see. The environment starts with a start block already on the programming interface. Now, the first thing we want to do is to read signals from the touch sensor. So the first set of blocks you see are the action blocks, then to the flow control, we'll talk about that, then to our sensors and data operations, we'll talk about all of these blocks. But for now, we move to sensors because we want to read signals from the touch sensor. And I look through and then I pick a touch sensor. So I have a touch sensor on the interface. I want to read input or signals from this touch sensor. From my robot, you saw the touch sensor was connected on port 3, but by default what we have here is connected on port 1. So quickly, the first thing is that we change the port from 1 to 3, which says we have a touch sensor connected to port 3 of an intelligent brake, and we want to read something from that sensor. What are we reading? We want to measure the state of that touch sensor. So when we measure the state, we will either be getting a pressed or a not pressed state. So a yes or a no, a true or false. This kind of data is called logic or Boolean data. Now, if we read this, where does it go to? It is supposed to be used to make decisions. So just like we said, in the chocolate factory, after all the computations have been done to compare whether the temperature is greater than 45, we get a yes, it is greater than, or no, it is not greater than. This yes or no answer is what triggers whether we are supposed to heat or cool our chocolate. So here also, the yes or no answer we are reading from the touch sensor is what is supposed to trigger whether the robot should move forward or backwards. So it has to be used as input to another block. Now, I'll introduce you to another block. So from the flow control, I'll introduce you to the switch block. The switch block is simple to use. It is just like the switches we have in our homes for turning on and off our lighting system. If we turn on the switch, the lights come on, and if we turn off the switch, the lights go off. So it decides on one of two actions. In this case, we want our robot to either move forward or move backwards. Whatever action you put in here, the robot executes if the input to the switch block results in a true. And whatever action you put here, the robot will execute if the input that feeds to the switch block is a false. So we are going to look at this. This is the response from the touch sensor, which is supposed to feed into the switch. However, this switch must be configured to be ready for Boolean data. So we move to the mode of the switch and select logic. The switch is now ready to receive a logic as its input. So we feed the output from the touch sensor as input to the switch block, which says that now we have a touch sensor on port 3. The state of that sensor is read to be either pressed or not pressed, and that state is fed into this switch block to trigger one of two actions. So if the touch sensor is pressed, we want to perform an action we put here, and if the touch sensor is not pressed, we want to perform the action we put here. As we said, we want the robot to move forward when the touch sensor is pressed. To move forward, it's an action, so we move to the action set of blocks, and then we move with our motors. So I select the large motor, which I showed you earlier. We had one on the port labeled A, and we had another one on the port labeled D. To move forward, we turn on both motors and drive them at the same speed. Let me drive them at a speed of 30. Then if the touch sensor is not pressed, we want the same motors to move. So I have the motor on A and then the large motor on D. Again, we turn both of them on. The only difference is that this time we want to move backwards. So how do we get the motors to turn backwards? By setting the speed to a negative speed. So I can drag this to 30, negative 30. An easier way is when I type. So I'll say I drive them at negative 30. And there we go. So if the touch sensor is pressed, it is fed here as a true and the motors move forward. If the touch sensor is not pressed, it is fed here as a false and the motors move backwards. The last thing we introduce is at flow control, we pick what we call a loop. The loop allows us to repeat any set of instructions. So we want the robot to keep in mind this set of instructions and repeat them anytime this action happens. So I select everything except the loop and then I drag it into the loop. We are done with our first program. Was that not simple? We have looked at a finite state machine under classical control systems. In this case, a two-state machine, which causes the robot to either move forward or move backwards. So now let's test the program we have just written on the robot to see how it functions. What do I pick my robot, then I pick a download cable. The download cable allows me to transfer the instructions from my computer. So I connect the USB portion to my computer and connect the other end to the port labeled PC behind the robot. After my environment has detected that there is a connected robot, I can then download the instructions onto my robot, and that sound tells me that the instructions are right there. I can either run the instruction from my robot directly, so I unplug my cable now because the instructions are now sitting right here on the robot. And if I run this instruction, the robot either moves forward or backwards, depending on whether I press or release the touch sensor. You can try this, and if you have any questions, leave us a question at the comment section and we will address your questions. Make sure you subscribe to have hints or notifications on subsequent videos to be uploaded. Thank you.